All right, y'all, what's going on? We back again. And yeah, this one's live. This episode is live. I've been feeling like doing them live instead of pre-recorded because I haven't had time. So yeah, I just been jumping straight on doing these things right off the top, right off the dome. And yeah, we back. Welcome back to another episode. Hashtag CB99 Talks. Hey, episode 118. And it's me. I'm back. So yeah, let's get into it, y'all. Sync, what's going on? Running Rini, Marcus Bill, Mojo, and Lolita. So y'all know I'm live. I had to put y'all names on blast, so I know you're there. So yeah, man, back with another episode of your favorite WMMA podcast. I can say that, right? I think it is right. Some of y'all's favorite WMMA show, right? At least I try to make it that way. Try to welcome everybody. Different points, different views from different places. Everybody's got something to say. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes goofy, right? Sometimes trolls, but that's what it is, man. Of course, if it's something good, I'm always gonna keep you around. But if you start trolling, I block you. But I haven't had to really block anybody you know, as far as I've been on here. I mean, I blocked like a couple people. Most of y'all, I leave that to the people with the wrenches. It's your call. I mean, if somebody disagrees, though, it's not a situation where you block them. Okay, you don't block a person uh, just because they're a diehard fan. But like if they're a fanboy and they start acting up, that's when you block a person, right? Even then, I cut them some slack, cut them some leeway. All right, and the boss is in the building. Yeah, so this is a live episode. Just so y'all know, I'm here. I'm here, not pre-recorded. So yeah, man. I got a few things I want to talk about because I watch a lot of WMMA, and some of y'all in the chat be bringing up some of the fights, uh, like the underground fights, and I watch a lot of them. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna talk about some of the fights, or just give y'all some updates on some of the ones that took place this weekend. Because some of y'all be asking, where do you see these fights at? Well, I be looking for them. Sometimes they're on YouTube. Sometimes they're on UFC Fight Pass. Them other little organizations that a lot of people just overlook. Go to YouTube and pull up their lives, or I just go look. I just go hunting. If I see a schedule out, I just go ahead and pull up the fight and watch it. On my own time. This is like the other fights. If it's like Cage Fury or Aries FC6 or something like that. So yeah, there was a couple fights that I watched. I think it was last Friday now. Last Friday, LFA 153. And I know Gabby, shout out to Gabby in the chat. She'd be asking me about some of these other fighters on the come up. So yeah, I'll be trying to keep up with them. Yeah, there's always somebody, on the prowl to try to get up and make a big statement. And LFA 153 this past weekend, there was Landria Brown versus what's her name, Rachel Martinez. And this girl right here, man, y'all seen me post this a few times, man, because it was a beautiful finish for Landria Brown. I mean, this girl showed you like a textbook rear naked choke. I mean, the way she locked it in, and you watched her opponent try to fight it, refuse to tap, and then you just saw her fade out. Right, you just saw her opponent fade out. Like, this is the part right here where she tried, she tried to fight it, but then her right hand just fell to the side, and you just see her eyes. You just see her eyes like blank out, and she passed out. So I thought that was a good stoppage for Landry Brown, because Landry Brown, she went in there once against one of my girls that I was high on, Cindy Trio, and got finished. But since then, she's racked up 2 wins. So yeah, shout out to her. Two rear naked chokes in a row. Young strawweight on the come up. Of course, still got work to do. So we'll see what happens next. And just so y'all know, I was watching this Aries FC 6 card uh, also on Friday. Told you I'll be watching these fights. And this girl here, Manuela Brown. No, not Manuela Brown, but Manuela Marconetto versus Mona Tui. That was a good fight. You know, it was entertaining. Manuela got a decision win over Mona. And I seen Manuela fight a few times. You know, she's a scrappy fighter. Seen her fight for, was I believe, Palace Athena. You know, another women up organization like Invicta FC. You know, she's been putting in that work, and put on a scrappy performance. You know, takedowns, pretty good strikes landed on this Mona girl I've seen like maybe once. But yeah, I just be watching some of these fights, y'all. You know, so I try to keep y'all in the loop with some of them. If y'all want to know about some fighters on the come up, you know, still Alandria Brown still working, trying to get to that point. But maybe if she goes Invicta FC, you'll see her make a few more statements. But she's a quick little grappler. You know, she's slick. You know, fast on the feet. Maybe needs to work on her striking defense a little bit more. But yeah, pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining style. All right. So yeah, that's what I was watching. You know, before the card on Saturday, I was watching some of these fights on Friday. But let's talk a little bit about a couple of bantamweights. Got a couple bantamweights here. What y'all think about these bantamweights? Out with the old, in with the new, right? Lena Landsberg got finished this past Saturday against Myra Winter Silva. And I got this pick. I had to go with MBS in this one. I mean, who else picked MBS? I think the boss, you picked MBS, right? Because I believe you asked me, or somebody asked me. I know BJ asked me, and when I said MBS would win, he kind of laughed. But I said, okay, man. I was like, if it goes to the ground, I think MBS got the jujitsu to do this, man. Like, jujitsu, you know, that's one of her specialties, man. It's like underrated for some reason. People don't think that Myra Winter Silva is that good on the ground. But like I told BJ, he laughed. He laughed at me. Think, what's up? He said he picked MBS. Yeah. He laughed. I was like, okay, man, watch this. I told you, you'll see. And as soon as the fight went to the ground, boom, Myra Winter Silva got it. And yeah, he literally laughed at me. I mean, you know, it wasn't like a voicemail or anything, but he literally typed this DM back to me. He said LOL, and then he said this. That's what he said, Brian. I was like, am I missing something here? I mean, come on, this is MBS. Like, Lena Landsberg ain't that many levels above. I mean, she got more experience at bantamweight, but when it comes to MBS, I'm like, this girl's ferocity, man. Like, she looking good. Shout out to BJ. I'm just messing. I mean, he did type that though. You know, I got to put him on blast, but yeah, Silva. I mean, her body kicks alone in this fight, I think they helped Lena Landsberg check out. Like, those body kicks put her into retirement too. I think she started feeling it. I mean, when she was like ripping her calf and just every calf kick was like making her do a dance, and she was getting spin kicked to the stomach, you know, just hitting that midsection over and over. And, you know, she couldn't stop the takedowns and she was getting mauled. I mean, y'all see that mauling work that Myra Winter Silva was doing? That was pretty good, you know? That was good work. And I thought Landsberg was gonna make something of it, but when she stood up, she didn't get the heck out of there. She stood in there in the fire, and Myra Winter Silva still on the ground, just grabbed the knee bar and got rid of her, you know. So I thought that was impressive work. So yeah. There was really no chance, in my opinion, after a while when I thought about it. But with that being said, Lena Landsberg is retiring. I think it's for the best. I mean, she posted this on IG. She said, "Thank you so much for all the love and support. It's been a hell of a ride, and to start fighting is the best thing I've ever done. It has given me so much, so much. But now it's time to move on. I'm done." So we can't really take that as a maybe or might. She said, I'm done. And I mean, at 40 years old, that's wise, right? You can't really get wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, Lena Landsberg, I think she's reached the level she's going to get to. Um, 40 years old and definitely showing signs of it. She's 10-8. Let me see how many losses in a row. That's 4 in a row. That's 4 in a row. She hasn't won a fight since the Lena Lands. She hasn't won a fight since Macy Chason. She hasn't won a fight since the Macy Chason fight. And I actually picked Macy to win that fight. So she got me on that one. Lafayette, what's going on? Mastermind, what's up? And Claude, what's going on? So just so y'all know, it's live and I am here. Yeah, man. Yeah. Macy Chase, I had picked her to beat Lena Landsberg, but she showed up in that fight. A very tight clinch game, beat Macy Chase on. But since then, she's lost to Sarah McMahon, Panny Kansan, Kara Rosa, Myra Buena Silva. And she's also got finished in her career by not Yana Kunskaya, Aspen Ladd, and she's lost to Yana Kunskaya. So since 2017, she is 3-6. 3-6 and hasn't won a fight in over 3.5 years. So I think it's time to go. I do. Not saying that as like, disrespect. I'm just saying, yeah, like the evidence is there. Like if she's not feeling it and you haven't won in 3.5 years, yeah, it's time to go, right? So yeah, shout out to Lena Landsberg. I mean, she's fought everybody. Chris Cyborg, Pudilova, Ladd. She's beat Mazzani. And yes, it's just time to go. Got to know when to get out. And some fighters stay around too long. Myra Buena Silva, though. Myra Buena Silva. Brian said, was she ranked? Yeah, she was ranked. She was still in the top 15. I can't remember where, but yeah, she was in top 15. Myra Buena Silva. Myra Buena Silva. This is a good time. This is a good time for her, making that transition. Got this veteran out of there, and boom, she's earned a spot. Let me see where this puts Myra Buena Silva. Myra Buena Silva's in a good place right now, because she's in a division that needs her. Now, is Myra Buena Silva like the biggest threat? I'm not sure, because some of these older heads still got skills that could slow her down, but the way she's making her move now, the UFC could kind of move her like they did Mackenzie Dern, up the top 10. I mean, she's got 3 wins in a row at 135, but they could put her in a position to get into the top 10 or top 5 if she's matched up correctly, right? So Myra Buena Silva's number 12 right now. Lena Landsberg was number Lena Landsberg was number 12, Brian. Number 12, and they switched spots. So Myra Buena Silva, number 12, could fight Misha Tate next. That's a winnable fight for her, I believe, on the feet or on the ground. Patty Kansas is a good name at number 7. I'm not sure about Macy because I'm not sure if she can make weight. But yeah, Patty Kansas is a good one. Yana Santos. Oh, okay. Yana Kunskaya done taking the surname. She done taking the name, right? Yana Santos now. Okay. So it's now Yana Santos, not Kunskaya. Okay. Yeah, so Myra Buena Silva's in a position where they can move her right and she could get her a title shot within like a year from now if she's moved right, and if any more fighters retire, she can be matched up right. Tate, Kansan can get her in there, and then from there it's going to be the Aldanas, Penas, and Ketlins, and Rocky Penningtons. And if Rocky's still around at that time, I don't know if she could beat Rocky though. I don't know about that. But now's the time to do it. While 125 is thriving without her, she can do her thing. So smart on her for moving up. The weight looks good on her. She seems to fight harder and look stronger, and she's getting better. So we'll see. All right. other thing I wanted to talk about here today, some of y'all asked me about this. I haven't really did a video or nothing. I didn't really feel like doing a video on this one, but Valentina Shevchenko responding to the call out of Ren Nakai. Because I know some people they they get it mixed up and they thought Valentina just straight up called out Ren Nakai, but no, Ren Nakai actually made a comment to her, and Valentina just responded, right? So Ren Nakai has been with Deep Jewels for a minute now, and she's going on a nice little win streak over there. 10 fights in a row, I believe, right? She's on a 10-fight win streak. And for some of y'all that don't know, that just started following WMMA, I mean, Ren Nakai, she's been signed to the UFC previously, like I want to say back in 2014 now. And she lost 2 fights. One was to Misha Tate, and Leslie Smith was the other. And then she was gone, right? So since then, she's been overseas, just racking up wins, fighting at flyweight, and making noise over at Deep Jewels, fought for Rising too, I believe. So, she's definitely made a good account of herself over the past few years. I mean, she's 36 now. So she's kind of tried to add a little self-promotion to herself, Yeah, I was looking at Twitter and they said Nakai issued a polite call out to Valentina, who was at the venue earlier in the day, it says. And yeah, Valentina, like, it wasn't like she was out scouting for Ren Nakai. She was actually over there training in Japan. Like, even before this call out was made, Valentina was already over there training. She was doing a sumo thing, and she was just talking to, just at the venue, hanging out, chatting it up, and also training hard with, some of the Japanese fighters over there, So her being over there, the name was going to come up one way or another, And Valentina just politely acknowledged it. That's what I believe. Yeah, Claude said the exchange between them was way overblown when it was a friendly exchange. And yeah, it was one of them situations where when somebody asked me about it, I was like, I don't really take too much into it, but if you want to know my thoughts, yeah. I mean, Valentina responded back. She said, come back to the UFC, get yourself a top 10 opponent, and I'm willing to check your skills. Congrats on your recent victory, right? Makes sense. I mean, that's the logical thing, right? If you want to take on Valentina, get yourself back, get yourself signed to the UFC, get a number by your name, and you go from there, right? So before she even talks to Valentina, Ren Nakai, we got to look at her resume and say, is she worthy of being signed again? And I mean, the UFC, they've done worse. I mean, they sign fighters premature. They sign fighters that don't even need to be there. They sign fighters that got knocked out right away, So Ren Nakai hasn't lost in about 7 years now, right? So 7 years, 10 wins in a row. Why not? Right? Why not? Go ahead and give her a chance to get signed and go from there, because Ren Nakai is going to have other problems. I mean, other problems by the name of Melissa Gatto, Tracy Cortez, JJ Aldridge, Natalia Silva, Miranda Maverick. All of them girls at the bottom and even in the mid rankings are big tests for her. All right. She got a lot of finishes now. Like, I think the majority of her fights are finishes. So that tells you how good she is or the level of competition. Like I said, I'm not bashing anybody, but I'm just saying, like, everybody knows, like, fighters can go on win streaks, like finishing streaks. But when they get to the UFC, it's a different story. What's going on, James? Yes, live. Yeah, so when you look at a fighter like Tyler Santos, she was finishing a lot of people before she got to the UFC. She got to the UFC, went decision after decision, right? Until she came to JoJo, she stopped her. But other than that, she was just winning decisions. So I don't think that Nakai's gonna come in here and just like take heads off. So yeah, before we talk Valentina, go in there, work your way up, beat a few girls, and see if you can go in there and hang with the Santoses and Blanchfields and the Firos, right? Because I mean, let's see, rear naked choke, ground and pound, armbar, rear naked choke, armbar, referee stoppage, elbows, TK. Yeah, she hasn't gone. Wow. Yeah, she hasn't gone the distance in a minute. Nakai hasn't. So yeah, we'll have to test that resume though. Yeah, go ahead and sign the UFC. Go ahead and sign Nakai. Give her one chance. Give her one more chance. 36, 10 wins in a row. Why not? I don't know if she'll be able to finish any of the fighters in UFC like that, but hey, go after Kareem Silva. You might get finished. You know what I mean? Take on Natalia Silva. Take on Suarez, Andrea Lee. Those are different fighters right there. So yeah, you'll definitely see a different level change when she takes on them fighters. So just go from there. The boss said the timing of this call out was strange to say the least. This happened in moments after Blanchfield got her win against Andrade, and Valentina didn't even mention her. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. Stamina, what's up? James, what's going on? He said Aaron called it the International Fight Week. I think that's perfect. Yeah. In July. That's a good one. That's good. So with that, let's talk. Let's talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it again because I don't like to rub it in because look, I know what could have happened. I know exactly what could have happened. Jessica Andrade had a great chance to win this fight, but I had to put the chips on Erin Blanchfield all the way, man. I thought her technique was going to be the neutralizer and how to balance the fight out, and it came out that way. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't see Blanchfield submitting her in the second round. I did go on record to say that, but I see her submitting her at some point. And you go back and listen to Mother Stream, like I said, she was going to be on that back, riding her like a bull. And that happened. The other thing that I wasn't too sure on was her striking. I did say she would take some shots, and we would see how it would work out. But yeah, for the most part, Blanchfield, she came through. She came through for me big time. She came through for me big time on this one, man, because she proved her durability and her skill set. And a lot of people were questioning, can she keep Andrade on her back? And I wasn't going to argue anymore. I said, you know what? There comes a point where you just have to let it play out because I only have so much to go off of too. But, some things, that are natural when it comes to fighters, you can't go off. You can't break it down factual for some people. You know what I mean? Like, you can't break down the dog of a fighter. I mean, you can talk about the jiu-jitsu all day, like technique, of course. Technique, of course. Yeah, you can break it down. You have different things to go off of, but the dog in a fighter, you don't know if it's going to show up one day or not. So it's hard to say with certain things. Like, they might not have it in one fight. So some things I just say I'm going to let play out. Like Andrade, when I've seen her on her back a few times, that was all I needed to see. And I know with Blanchfield's solid wrestling and her jiu-jitsu, she knows how to position even a fighter like Andrade. Now, the feet was where it was kind of in question for me, right? Because of the power. But Andrade on her back ain't that dangerous. I already went on record saying that too. Like, Andrade on her back, or if you get behind her, she ain't dangerous. She ain't gonna be that type of fighter that's that's gonna be able to break free even like Santos or like Valentina, So I knew at some point with the jiu-jitsu, it was all Blanchfield. She is like McKenzie when it comes to the finishing factor. If you give her a limb or a neck, she's taking it. Okay. So that's why it was a pick I had to stick with. I wasn't gonna play around with it. Of course, you gotta see reality with it. Like I can't be delusional when I pick Blanchfield and just say, "Oh, that's it. She got it 100%." You got to think with reality too, because this was her first top 10 opponent. So there's got to be some reality there. You know what I mean? I can't just say, "Oh, whoa, it's a clear sweep," you know. But if it would have been anybody else like I picked, yeah. Like the only time I picked against Blanchfield is Miranda Maverick. And I was kind of like 50-50 on that. And it was a fan pick too, because, I rock with Miranda, but I know what Aaron's capable of too, right? But Miranda actually did better on the back than Jessica Andrade. She did better on the ground too, right? She did better than Andrade on the ground. So, Miranda Maverick's jiu-jitsu is solid, So yeah. Yeah, that was like the only fight I ever picked against Aaron was that one, but everybody else by finish. Sarah Alpar wasn't the finish, but yeah, I picked everybody else by finish too, like Aldridge, Molly McCann. And then this fight, I was just like, you know what? It's going to be a submission her way. We'll just see how she gets it there, right? So yeah, Aaron did it. Much love. Got to give much respect for sure. She's shaking up this division. It's going the right way. Ravioli said makes Lauren Murphy look worse. Dang. Yeah, might be time to go, right? James, what's up? James said Blanchfield took all of the food from Santos and the plate, and I mean all of it. Crazy. No one cares about Santos rematch now. Aaron took all that hype. That's how it goes, though, man. Like, this is a dog-eat-dog game, and this was like a plate. This is a single plate with a bunch of wolves around it, and if you turn your head once, this wolf right here, she's going to snatch it. You know what I mean? And she did that. She clearly did that. I was a little disappointed in Santos's choices as far as pulling out of this fight, though, because she could have secured her rematch. But now, even though she moves up to number one, this is the girl everybody's looking at, Aaron. Aaron. Yeah, James, just definitely what have you done for me lately? Because people seen Santos already, but she didn't go hard enough by taking the fight. So we're gonna go with the next best thing, and that's Aaron. So yeah, Aaron's definitely got the confidence and the skills to give Val a good fight, I believe. I know what Valentina's capable of, but I think Aaron's unpredictable style and her unpredictable improvements always make it hard for any opponent that she takes on, because she's always adding new levels to her game. Like her striking really looked levels above. I mean, for one, Andrade doesn't move her head. She resorted to old Andrade, yeah. But even I can say Aaron's shots look sharper, definitely looks sharper. The jab was on point. Jabbing from the outside, nice circle and everything, So yeah, Aaron's definitely earned it, in my opinion. She's earned the winner. And she says she'll take it in July. That's great. She still left it open. She said if the UFC wants me to fight one more fight, I'll do that. I'm cool with that. I think that's an opportunity to grow. I don't see that as a duck. She's just leaving that open because she knows she just got here pretty quick too. But I wouldn't do that at this point. I really wouldn't, because she's 5-0. Tyler almost made that mistake, right, of getting another fight after the JoJo win. I almost thought she should have got one, but no, she went on and fought Valentina next, and she gave Valentina a great fight, right? She gave Valentina a heck of a fight. So Aaron's riding momentum and confidence right now. So this is her moment, the same as Santos had her moment. No more fights in between. Just get it now. Because I think her skill sets too on the ground can give Valentina trouble. People just don't understand this jiu-jitsu. This jiu-jitsu that Aaron possesses, her skills on the ground, it's scary. It's scary. Even her approach, man. Even her approach to fighting. I'm telling y'all. The boss says Santos needs to fight Manon or Chikagan. Yeah, I can get with that. I can get with that for sure. James said Blanchfield's 100% next. Only thing that can screw it up is a Nunes trilogy. Yeah, I'm going to put that on the sideline. We don't want to see that right now. I mean, it's more money for Val, but Nunes trilogy, I'd rather see Aaron get this work in now. But yeah, I love the groundwork of Aaron. You know, Aaron's jiu-jitsu was on point. James, can you be honest, man? Like, if it goes to the ground, you got to admit that Aaron has a great chance against Valentina. Maybe not on the feet, because Andrade is a different striker than Valentina. Okay, timing is different. Okay, all of that, but James, you got to admit that on the ground, Aaron is going to give Valentina some problems. I think she's strong enough to do it, and her technique is dangerous because this is her specialty. You know, Rose saw that when she went in there against Jillian Robertson. You know, and just fury grappling. You know what I mean? Like, the ground game is different. It's just different. Is Maverick booked? Not sure. She is ranked now, but I like the fact that she was honest that it is a politics thing and she still wants to fight, even though she got ranked, because they threw her in there. Yeah, I'm not just like, okay, well, y'all got her book? Not yet, though. Mastermind said Aaron submits Val in a title fight. The end. Boom. Well, you heard it right there. We're not sleeping on her defense on the ground. We're not sleeping on it, James. I'm talking about me personally, who studied Aaron's jiu-jitsu since day one. Okay, I'm talking about since she was a kid. All right, just like Valentina's been working as a kid, she's been working on her game as a kid. That's what makes this dangerous. This ain't just like somebody that started jiu-jitsu at 24 years old. No, like, this girl earned her black belt. All right, James, I'm telling you, this level of jiu-jitsu. Tell him, Mastermind. You know, Mastermind. Come on, tell him. This level of jiu-jitsu is through the roof. And she's a good, solid MMA fighter too. Like, Mackenzie is still bridging the gap, but like, this one is a good example. James said, so you think the gap is that big in BJJ? I think so, James. I think so. I really do. Now, like, MMA as a whole, I'm gonna give Valentina that. All right. MMA as a whole, like, the combination of wrestling, grappling, takedowns, and jiu-jitsu all together, the way Uriah Faber teaches it to fighters like Macy Barber and Jan Janan, so they can understand it. That's what she has. All right. But like, if it just goes down to pure jiu-jitsu, I'd say that's still gonna be competitive. That's, Aaron can be dangerous in that. All right. So yeah, I think she's earned it, man. I want to see it. We'll see what happens though. Jessica Andrade, I think she got to go back to 115. Donna Moore, what's up? She said a lot of recent stories that Andrade had wardrobe malfunction caused her to lose focus that led to a loss. Thought I heard it all. Yeah, I heard I heard that too. I didn't really want to spend too much time on it. I was gonna mention it, but since she brought up the wardrobe malfunction, I don't know. Yeah, I thought I heard it all, but a fighter is brutal. A fighter as brutal as Andrade, you think that's the last thing she would worry about? Even like a tooth getting knocked out, she would fight through it. You fight through blood. You fight through getting the mouthpiece knocked out. You fight through just maybe getting dropped in a fight, getting humiliated in that fashion. But these little halter tops you have on, if it tends to slip, that might make you lose focus. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say to that, but I'm just saying there's so many ways to be humiliated in the octagon, and so many ways to be humbled and put in your place, and so many ways to be damaged that could cause you to lose focus. I think that would kind of be the last thing. I mean, the fight game is so savage anyway, right? Cage closes, you fight until somebody submits or somebody gets knocked out, right? So you're already in a position where the spotlight is on you. So to me, you kind of have to fight through that. I mean, I don't know if it kind of made like some trigger in her mind at the time, but I just kind of find that weird too. That now that's something that made her lose focus of all things. Because I'm sure she's faced worse punishment than that, and you fight through it. You fight through it. But one little thing like that, I kind of find it strange. I do. But everybody picked her to win this fight, and everybody felt like she had enough. I felt she had enough to make it still dangerous for a fighter like Erin. I'm gonna give her full credit for it. She didn't take any punishment in the Lauren Murphy fight, barely. So from here, I think she just got to go back down to 115. Take some time off, work it out, and go from there. Jump back into the mix at 115. I'm gonna stand by it. I want to see her fight either Carla or Rose again, so she can get her rematch with Wei Lee, and that's about it. No more 125 fights to me, because I still think a lot of the other girls in 125 can handle her. Like the big fresh fighters, like a Manon would beat her, Tyler would beat Andrade, Erin already beat her. Those are the fighters that would pretty much knock her out of the space from here now. So in some ways, Andrade, even though she was on short notice, aura's kind of been broken, right? Just a little bit. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. 115 is fine. Yeah, Mastermind, like I said, he's been working since he was 7 years old. BJJ, Muay Thai, all of that. And her dad gave her the name Cold Blooded, right? Because she was always competitive like that. She's that type of warrior. I mean, this is what we've been looking for, James. We've been looking for somebody with this type of energy. Ravioli said, feed Andrade, Marina Rodriguez. No, that ain't gonna happen. They have the same manager, and Marina said, no, they ain't happening. And Marina's fighting Verna Jandiroba for y'all. Don't know. Breaking news. Yeah, Marina versus Verna Jandiroba is happening. Her and Andrade will never fight until it's for a title because they have the same, management team. So yeah. So yeah, more than likely, Yan Jianan, Carla, Rose, those are good names for Marina and Andrade. But yeah, man, yeah, I don't know the deal. I'm not really going to go in on Andrade on that, on the excuses that were made. I believe injury was coming into play too in this one. So yeah, it was just announced, Ravioli. Yeah. I mean, I just literally saw it before I jumped on the show. So yeah, I just jumped on and saw it. And Angela Hill's taking on Mackenzie Dern too. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, no bashing on Andrade. I mean, hey, excuses are made by all fighters sometimes, and you got to just go from there, suck it up, and move on. But speaking of bashing, man, I wanted to talk a little bit about this, man. Like, sidetrack from the WMMA for a second. This is crazy, man. Like, I've heard this before. From fans, and fans, MMA fans are special sometimes, man. When you really think about it, they are. MMA fans are special, man. The way they just feel like they can control people's lives and just talk all kinds of trash, or try to hit a fighter where it really hurts, at home, just saying a lot of personal things. But in this case, for a fighter like William Knight, yeah, shout out to William Knight. I mean, this the fight game, and we know what he's supposed to do, but some people just have off nights. This game is mental. And I'm not going to sit here and put the guy down. I mean, if I was his trainer, I would have approached it like the same way. But since I'm not, I'm not going to go out here talking a lot of trash about him and putting him down. The result he got, that's enough. That's enough pain right there. You know, he just got cut recently too. So he just got cut. The pain of the loss and how he lost, all of that's enough for him to deal with. He don't need extra from fans. All right. And he dang sure don't need death threats. No fighter needs death threats, man. Like, what is wrong with people out here, man? Like, it's, this is like, what is this, the mob days in boxing? I know stuff like this used to happen in boxing, like back in the day. If you refuse to throw a fight, or if you you know, cause a fighter to lose that was the heavy favorite, everybody put money on him and they lost their house or they lost their money, lost the shirt off their back because they too stupid to not put all of their money on it. They go out and blame the fighter, or they go out and try to kill the fighter. This is stuff that happened in boxing back in the day, right? But now you got a lot of fans out here making death threats because they made a bad pick, right? And that's what this is, man. This is a gamble. You a gambler, you should know what the word means. You're a gambler, so you can't go out here and make death threats to a man because he came up short. Nobody told you to put that money on him like that, right? So people just really need to grow up. People just really need to grow up sometimes. And like, these are people older than me and they still out here acting the fool, So, what William Knight went through that night, I mean, that was him. I mean, I wasn't happy with the performance, of course, but when I think about it as a fan, of course, we get a disappointing fight, but you got to imagine the humility that person is going through. Like, whatever he's going through where he freezes up and can't pull the trigger, that's him. It's just like you ever seen like a stage play when people are performing and somebody on stage gets stage fright and they freeze up. I'm not going to get mad at that person. I'll be more like, man, I feel sorry for that person. I'd hate to be in their position. That's what's usually going through my mind. Like, I know I paid for the performance, but if they clam up and they freeze up, what can I do? They're going to have to relive that moment forever and ever. Not me. They'll have to get through that. But that's just how I see it, man. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, this is what William Knight said. He said, at the end of the day, I went out there and froze up. I didn't do my part and I lost the fight. Some of y'all wanted me to win. Some of y'all betted on me. I understand. I completely get it. In life, human beings aren't perfect, but I'm taking ownership of my actions because I didn't do ish. I stood there, I froze, and I take full responsibility. All these crazy inboxes of threats, all these inboxes of disrespect, I get it. Y'all have a right to be angry. I read messages, y'all threatening my life, y'all talking crazy, saying I don't belong in the UFC. Okay. So if you feel like you don't belong in the UFC, that's one thing. But threatening the man's life, wishing death on a man because you were too stupid to not trust your gut in a certain pick. Hey, don't blame him. Don't blame him. Like I said, the most you can do is just be disappointed in his performance. But you can't go out here and say, oh, man, like this guy here deserves to die. Or, oh, man, like next time I see you, it's on. You know what I mean? That's not on. It shouldn't be on you. I don't get it. I mean, I get it because people are stupid. People are stupid out here. Not all people, but for the most part, that is a phrase I live by. People are stupid. Growing up in life, people are stupid. And I'm not saying all people are stupid or I hate people, but I think any kid growing up needs to learn that phrase. People are stupid. If you go in thinking that way, you won't be as disappointed. Right? But yeah, shout out to William Wright. I mean, he's probably going through some things. And that night, he just looked off. Even when his trainer was yelling at him, he just seemed to be almost like a little kid with his response, So I was just like, man, maybe he got something going on. you know. But when it comes down to it, it's him. He's got to deal with it. And now that he's gotten cut, that's him. But fans, man, like, I don't get them, man. Like, even sometimes I'll have somebody comment, you know, on a video, and you just gotta get rid of them. You just gotta block them, man, because they say the stupidest things, man. Um, don't even know a person, and you just feel the need to put negative energy on them. You know, I don't get that. But for the record, like with my picks, they're my picks. They're my picks. I'm not telling anybody out there. This is my disclaimer. Look, anybody out there that's gambling or trying to do research and get a full on pick for a fight, understand that my pick is my pick. Don't ever blame me if you get a pick wrong. Okay. This is truly off of what I go off of. Anybody that just rocks with me that has been listening to me for a minute and wants to know about the fight game. I'm not here to help the gamblers out like this, especially, if they're going to get in their feelings. Okay. That's how I see it. And for the most part, I think that that's just something that people they just reach anyway. They're going to reach about it, anything. So you just have to deal with it, William Knight, man. That's people like fighters like William Knight. They're not going to be the last. They're always going to run to somebody to threat when it comes down to it. So yeah, James froze up at the wrong time. Yeah, I'm sad he missed that opportunity, but yeah, it happens. It happens. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, fans, man, like MMA fans, boxing fans alike, they need to stop living through the fighters and be themselves and stop worshiping the fighters, and maybe they'll understand what they go through more than thinking that they're like Superman or their favorite little cartoon superheroes growing up or something. But that's what I got on that. I just had to say that because I thought that was crazy. That guy's already dealing with a hard loss and he just had to voice it. And this isn't the first time. I know Tim Bradley, whenever he won that fight with Manny Pacquiao, he got a lot of death threats. And he was probably in the same situation. A lot of people bet on Pacquiao. He winds up winning. So they threatened him, his wife, his newborn baby. I'm like, wow. But thankfully, nothing ever happened. That just shows you maybe they were just all talk like they are now. So yeah, thoughts on that? You can leave them right there if you want. That's how I feel about that. All right, so I know Gabby had mentioned some of these fights to me, so I said, oh, you know what? I'll give you my thoughts. I haven't seen her here tonight, but Friday night, we got a lot of fights going on here. Friday night, we got several cards. I can't. Hold on. Yeah, a couple of fight cards here I want to put y'all on just so y'all can tune in if y'all like the the non-UFC fight cards. There's always Bellator, even PFL. Come on, we got some good fights in PFL. We got some flyweights and featherweights over here. At least they got somewhat of a featherweight division, right? Bellator 291 is this Friday, or is it Saturday? Hold on. Bellator plays too much, man. Sometimes they Saturday, sometimes they Friday. Let me double check here. Bellator 291 is on a Saturday this time. Early Saturday. So first up, Friday, we got PFL. All right. PFL, we have a flyweight tournament. Friday, 9 p.m. We've got 4 fights. Some familiar faces, right? Got some familiar faces in this little flyweight tournament. Should be a good night of fights. This is the some of the lower half fighters, from Invicta, Tough House. So we should have some good fights, right? Um, week 5 women's flyweights, you got what's her name, Caitlin Neal, and hold on, let me pull up some names here. Caitlin Neal. Oh yeah, and it's Helen Peralta, right? Hang on, this thing is loading up. James Preston Suarez back this Saturday. Yup. Yeah, man, that Bradley thing was crazy, man. That Bradley fight. Like, I didn't think Bradley won either, but man, I didn't want to attack him. You know, people was crazy. All right, so yeah, women's flyweights in PFL. We have Helen Peralta taking on Lisa Malden. Y'all know Helen Peralta from the Tough House, Invicta, LFA. Hard hitter, tough, scrappy fighter, bare knuckle boxer as well. I always talk to her every now and then on IG. She's cool. Say I should come out and one of her PKFC fights one time. I said, shoot, if I had time, I would. Yeah, Helen Peralta was all right. And Lisa Malden, I've seen her fight a few times. Also an LFA fighter. Fought at like flyweight and strawweight. She's fought kind of like who's who with some of the lower level girls. Like Sam Hughes, UFC fighter now. She's beaten Caitlin Neal before. So this fight should be interesting. We'll see what can happen to this fight. Then you got Shannon Young taking on Sandra Lovato. Shannon Young, Invicta fighter, former UFC fighter, lost to Miranda Maverick before getting cut. Sandra Lovato, I know she's fought that one strawweight named Carolina Wajcik that fought Cheyenne Belismus before. So I remember some of these faces, I remember some of these faces whenever they pop up here and there. I usually be like, oh, that's where they went. Oh, okay, there they go. All right, then you got Caitlin Neal taking on Griet Eckhout. Yeah, I've seen this girl fight before. Some of the lower level fighters, from the other organizations. I think she's like, 6-4. Caitlin Neal 6-4. So kind of interesting fight here. Caitlin Neal, y'all remember she got stopped by Juju Miller, submitted by Juju Miller in the Tough House. So we'll see what happens from here. We'll see if she can pick up a contract here, pick up $1 million payday. Interesting, the second half, the B levels and the C levels, like the C levels and so on. So we'll see how that card plays out. I know last Saturday I thought this Nuts in Austin fight was taking place, but it's this Saturday. I got it wrong, so correction. Nuts in Austin is this Saturday at like 9 a.m. I know Gabby is a fan of these fighters. She's watching them. I think Brian Williams said he's a fan of Jacinta Austin. So, yeah, she's fighting this Saturday. This Saturday at 9 a.m. I thought it was last Saturday, but yeah. Should be an interesting fight. I'm leaning towards Nuts in this fight, really. I think she's a hard hitter and a pretty solid hitter in there when it comes to her kickboxing, man. Pretty hard hitter. But Austin's a scrappy fighter. She's getting a takedown game straight, working on all of that. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm leaning towards Nuts in that fight. Just so you know, Brian. I just got to let you know that I think she's a little bit more solid if it stays on the feet. Okay, and if y'all don't want to sleep in Saturday morning, you got Bellator 291 at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that's an early card for me. And on this one, you got Elena Caliendo and Gina Bishop. A couple of strawweights. Flyweights. Trying to build up their flyweight division over here. I've seen Gina Bishop before. She's a young undefeated fighter. She's fought for LFA. She's moved from LFA to Bellator. So that's how you do it. Before you try to jump into the UFC, go from LFA to Bellator, rack them up. Caliendo, she's an interesting fighter, so we'll see how that plays out. Then you got Sinead Kavanaugh and Janae Harding, featherweight fight. Sinead Kavanaugh kind of give her the edge on the feet, with her power. Janae Harding been coming up a little short, man. That's my girl, but she's been coming up short. She's lost, I believe, 2 or 3 in a row now. So we'll see what happens in that one. We already seen Sinead Kavanaugh take on Chris Cyborg, so I don't really know who's going to be ready for that belt. So we'll see how that fight plays out. Clausen Fury and Jake Paul this weekend too for amateur boxing fans. Oh boy, yeah, I think the best thing about the Paul brothers is the one is like the manager of Amanda Serrano, and that gives her a good promotional team. Gives her good promotion. So that's the best thing about him is helping out the women boxers. But just not a fan of Paul. Just not. All right. So that's what you got going on in Bellator and PFL, all the other side stuff on the weekend. But let's talk about this card. Okay, we got 3 fights. We got 3 fights this weekend. All right. Okay. Yeah, Janae Harding is a very, she's a very pretty woman. Let me just put it that way. She's a very, very pretty woman. I mean, Bellator has some of the most, attractive women over there. I mean, they got the exotic look over there, right? Well, I'd say for me, my taste, the prettiest women are in Bellator. Prettiest women in WMMA to me are Denise Kielholtz, Alejandra Lara, and Janae Harding. So they got it over there on that, just as a sidebar, right? As a sidebar, I mean, we talk skills and stuff all day, and that's what I'm looking for when it comes to my favorite fighters. But if you're just talking your man stamina, that's all I have to say about it, though. I'm just saying, they are very pretty women. So, Janae Harding, Laura and Kielholtz, those are top 3 when it comes to looks, for sure. We got these 3 fights right here. Let's see. Let's talk about this fight first. Eileen Perez and Haley Cohen, real quick. Eileen Perez and Haley Cohen. Okay. Bantamweight fight. I know they have the same record. I just can't remember what the numbers are. Hold on. Let me see. 7-2. They're both 7-2. Haley Cohen, this is her first fight, right? She won her fight in the Contender Series. Very close fight. Dana still signed her. Eileen Perez, she lost her debut, right? She lost her debut. I mean, she's talking mad junk, though, but her energy still has not died. So I guess she's a fighter they're going to want to keep around, right? Because, until she racks up 4 in a row or 3 in a row. But right now, Eileen, she's been talking, man. She's been talking mad junk. And you kind of like that energy because she's trying to put some life into 135. Then you got Haley Cohen, who to Dana White said has the goods and it factor. She's a physically strong fighter, pretty decent wrestler, good clinch fighter. She's really strong, Haley Cohen is, but I still think her jiu-jitsu is a little shaky. She can get put in submission holds against some, solid ground fighters, So I think Haley Cohen fighting somebody like Eileen Perez, she's going to want to take that clinch approach. Eileen, she's a bit of a scrappy fighter, she'll put it all on the line. She's interesting, as far as how she moves on her feet. Uh, Still, the level is different from Samurai Fight House, where she was fighting, versus the UFC, and we saw that how quick she got choked out. If I had to pick in this one off of, just pick it, man, because it really is 50-50. Because Haley Cohen, you know, split decision. It was a split decision win in the contender series that could have went either way, right? Very close win. It's Stephanie Edgar, submitting Eileen Perez. It really is 50-50, man. But I think I'll go with I get with Haley Cohen in this one. I think she might be more of a versatile fighter in this one. If she works on her striking a little bit more, she can close distance and pick her shots. I think she could keep Eileen Perez in the mid range, and eventually, if she starts to get tagged, she can switch gears and go to a clinch type of approach. Might be boring, but you might see Haley Cohen take that approach in this fight. I think she'll win this one. They're both like the it factor fighters. They're bringing like energy here, right? They're what he's looking for, right? So we'll see how that plays out. Bantamweight needs some life right now. All right, flyweight fights. Lafayette said Gabrielle going to beat the snot out of Jazzy Vicious. Let's talk about that. Okay. Jazzy Vicious, Gabriela Fernandez. This should be an interesting fight. Got a LFA flyweight champion making her move over to the UFC. And she's 8-1. Gabriela is versus Jazzy. She's 7-2. Jazzy has one victory in the UFC. Natalia Silva. Oof, that was a rough loss right there. That was a rough one, boy. Really was. Gabriela Fernandez, she's a tough one, man. She's a tough, scrappy fighter and has a submission game too. So even though we haven't seen her fight in the UFC yet, I think that you can't go wrong looking to pick Gabriela Fernandez. I think that with her style and her approach against a fighter like Jazzy Vicious, who doesn't have the best defense, and you have Fernandez, I think, is a little bit quicker. She could put that jab in the face, man. She could put that jab in the face and eventually drop a level and take her down after she wears her down. So, yeah, she came in explosive in her title fight. She came in explosive in the title fight. And hold on, I'm just pulling something up here. Troy B, what's up? He said, who wins, Eileen or Cohen? I'm going to go with Cohen in that fight. Now, it's going to take a work type of rate for Cohen to win, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. But if Eileen is quick with her jiu-jitsu, she could submit Cohen. I think that's her weakness. Yeah, she's a good size flyweight. Gabriella is, she's about 5'6", has good size to her, muscular, pretty toned, and she's strong. Ground game is pretty good. I've seen a few of her some of her older fights 3 or 4 years ago. And then, the performance for LFA for the, I want to say, they said it was like an interim title that she won. I don't know if she won that flyweight belt over there, but she was holding the belt. So it was a 5-round fight anyway. So that's a title fight to me. She went over there and performed and she won it. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Gabrielle in this one, man. I think even when Jazzy was outside of the UFC, like, she was always tough and durable, but a little bit slower. Maybe she'll prove me wrong. I don't know. I want to say Elise Reed had beat her once when they met like a couple years ago. I believe it was her. Yeah. Yeah, Cohen is strong. Yeah. She's a strong clinch fighter. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Yeah, she's a strong clinch fighter. Like that's going to be her bread and butter. But if she doesn't get it there early and she doesn't keep it there, I think she could have problems. Uh, yeah, Marcus. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of Gabriella's fights. Yeah, and I like her chances. I do. I like her chances. So I'm gonna pick Haley in her fight, and I'm gonna go with Gabriella Fernandez in her fight. The two young ladies making their debuts. Let's go to the WMMA main event, Tatiana Suarez and Montana De La Rosa. It's been a long time. It's a long time coming. It's a long time coming. Do you believe now that Suarez is coming back, yo? Well, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, it's not fight night yet. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm hoping. I'm praying for. I'm praying nothing goes wrong. I'm praying nothing goes wrong with Montana. I don't want any situation to have to put off the comeback of Tatiana Suarez. This is a long time coming. And the UFC still realizes that Suarez has some stock and that people are looking forward to it because she's on the main card. She's not on the prelims, y'all. She's on the main card. She's about the fourth fight down. So she's the third fight on the card. Yeah, she's the third fight on the main card. So the UFC still believes in Tatiana Suarez. I believe in Tatiana Suarez. I do, man. I mean, she's still 8-0. Ain't nothing changed except the age and the weight class, right? And hopefully the skills. Hopefully the skill sets have gotten better. But like I told a lot of people, I think that this is a good choice for her. Montana, the more years you take off or inactive, the quality of opponent has to go down too to fit your standing and your inactivity. So hopefully, there's not too much rust. Hopefully, the past few years she's been able to get in a little bit of work and just stay sharp and learn some new things. But Montana's not a complete pushover. I don't want to make it seem that way too. I mean, for somebody like Macy Barber, it's more of an easy win for her, right? Because Macy's active and Macy's tough and she's been improving. And I should have picked that fight. I should have picked Macy. I'm doggone it. Anyways, I didn't pick Macy in that fight. But yeah, for somebody like Macy, yeah, it would have been smart to pick her because she's more active. But Tatiana, this is going to be the biggest opponent on her resume. First fight at flyweight, fellow wrestler, and somebody I think that'll want to make it competitive on the ground with her. So we'll see if Montana can go strength for strength with Suarez. Because word is, Suarez feels good at this weight and she feels strong. And she said this is a weight she could be at if she wants to. So we'll see if she can do at least 70% of what she did to some of the straw weights. Let's see. Let's see if she still has that physical strength. Let's see if she can still move like that, with some of the injuries she suffered. Or will she fight a little bit more of a cautious fight to avoid that type of damage, right? You want to see if she can go in there and maybe fight a little bit of a smarter fight because, the style she possesses, it is grueling on her body, especially with the injuries she suffered. So I think we will see some changes. I mean, what about y'all? Like, I think we will see a few changes in the style of Montana because even she knows that with what's been going on with her, she's going to have to fight a different fight. You're getting older, 32 years old, right? So getting into your early 30s, some things change. The body changes, the bones change. So she's going to have to take a different approach, So that's why her striking is going to have to be a big part, I think, fighting behind the jab and, more of a kickboxing approach, I think, kind of like Aaron does. Aaron, to get her takedowns, like, doesn't have like the prettiest striking, but she has the effective striking. It was smart. Like not a lot of people are fans of her footwork and her movement, but Aaron's getting it done. Aaron's getting to that point where she needs to be. So hopefully Suarez has, a little bit more fluidity on the feet and she can pull that trigger. But speaking of pulling the trigger, Montana De La Rosa, that's the fighter that needs to work on pulling that trigger. Montana, she'll show up here and there. She'll have her moments, but sometimes she'll just kind of let the victory fade, or slip from her hands, So it's hard to really pick her moving forward here. She's going to have to be dictating the pace in this fight. You've been in here longer. You have a few losses, but you've been in here much more active. You got more fights in the UFC now, right? So Montana's going to have to be letting combinations go. Stop being so lethargic, let the hands go. Pile up points, mix up the kicks and the punches in Suarez's face, throw her off, balance, move fast. You should have more in your gas tank, right? Try to avoid the clinch with Suarez early, but box a little bit more. Like, I know that sounds crazy asking that from Montana, but sometimes you need to cancel out a person's wrestling by being a striker in there. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be a well-rounded fighter. Like, it's important for a fighter like her. You got to be able to go in there and mix it up sometimes. Like, with her activity, I know Montana had like one injury like a year ago, right? She had to have surgery, but she came right back. So she's had more time to get her boxing down and get her striking down. So she should be, a little bit more fluid on her feet and a little bit smarter. So I think that's going to have to be her game. Use her reach, use her length to her advantage. They list Suarez at like 5'5". I believe she's like 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. I know Montana's like 5'7" though. Yeah, Montana's like 5'7". Her reach is like 68 or 69. So she's tall and long, So I think she should fight a tall fight in this one. I know she's not Chikagian with the speed, but I think it would be smart for her to kind of pick her opponent apart that hasn't been in there for over 3 years, right? So much has changed. So much has changed since Suarez has been gone. Let's see, like the level of opponents she's fought. She's fought good fighters, of course, but since then, a lot of fighters have evolved. So it's good to test it against Montana. Like, let's see if she's one of the ones that can show her the evolution of WMMA from the past 3-4 years, right? Let's see. Suarez in the UFC has fought Vivian Pieda. Remember that fight? A long while ago. And she beat up and dominated Grasso and Esparza. Then she had a good competitive fight with Nina Ansaroff. And then that was it. That was way back in UFC 38. UFC 238. Yeah. So a lot's changed since then. Those were small fighters that she dominated. And Nina Ansaroff had a good level of kickboxing in that fight that was kind of giving her work. I know there was a part towards the end of that fight where she was injured, but still, Then she was supposed to come back and fight Roxy. That would have been a good test for her. But yeah, when you look at those last 4 opponents of hers, so much has changed since then. Even with Grasso, Grasso's gotten better. I think Suarez, that would still play out the same, even with Esparza. Well, Esparza, not Grasso. That's different now. Yeah. So since then, I think Grasso's gotten to be a better fighter. But we'll see, man. I'm leaning towards Suarez in this fight because I still think that she has the better wrestling. I think she has a better balance too, and better takedowns, better top control. But if she can't get past the hands of Montana, if she shocks us by using her hands, it could be a long night for her, right? Sink said Marina would beat Andrade, in my opinion. That's a kind of an unpopular opinion to people, but it's possible. It's possible if she was able to pump her jab out. I mean, if she don't throw the jab, man, I wouldn't bet on it. Like if she was more like Joanna with her jab, letting it go, even like Rose, and I would put money on it. But if you don't pump the jab in her face, man, you got a problem. You got a long night. So I'm confident in Suarez. I'm just worried with the injury. She might get injured during the fight. Same here, man. Like not even during the fight, but maybe after the fight. You know what I mean? Like, well, you know what I mean? Like not during the actual fight, but maybe like an injury comes up after the fight where, you know, it flares up or, you know, she fights through it and then we hear about it. Like, I think she'll make it through. Like, well, you know how Manon had ruptured a ligament. Like she felt the tear, but she made it through. Then we hear, oh, she's going to be out. I think that could be an issue. Like she could go in here and win, but then we find out, oh, you know, herniated disc or hurt her neck, something like that. Oh, James said you still favor Santos versus Aaron, 60-40, 55-45 or not. Yeah, I still favor I favor Santos. I'll say 59-41, is it? Yeah, 59-41. It's closing in. It could be like 50-50, I'd say. Yeah. 59-41, 50-50. Because I still think Aaron's jiu-jitsu is better, but well-rounded fighter, I think say Suarez, and size is going to come into play in that fight. So I still give Santos the edge in that fight. What about you, Jason? I'm not. What about you, James? I mean, Aaron looked good against Andrade, but I was always picking Santos against Aaron. So, but you never know, man. Them hands, boy. Aaron was letting them go. You know, sometimes sometimes Santos, when she weight like that, might get them jabs in her face. I don't know. That's how good these fighters are right now on the come up. Lafayette said Santos for me. Yeah, same thing for me, man. Yeah, I still have to pick her. I still have to pick her to win that. Brian says he thinks that Grasso is going to do better than expected by most. That's all I ask, man. Like, what I think is what I think, but it's not like that's what I want to happen. That's just what I think. Right. But if she goes in there and does better, I'll be like, man, she proved me wrong. And if she can go in there and go 5 or pull out a decision win, I'm like, or a split decision loss, that's what I want. That's what I watch the fight game for. It's like, I watch it to see if I know what I know my stuff, but I also like to be proven wrong. Because if I prove it wrong, that's exciting, man. You know, that's some exciting stuff because that means the fighter's getting better, man. I mean, Grasso was a good technical fighter, but she's going to have to do a little bit more in there. Like, she's going to have to assert herself in this fight. That's mainly what it is with me. Like, if she was more assertive, then yeah, I think her combinations could throw Valentina off, or her clinch game could give some problems because she believes in herself, right? I just hope that changes overnight, you know, from the last fight to this one. Sink said lengthy, good 1-2, knees and elbows and clinch and decent footwork. Oh yeah, for Marina, right? Yeah, Marina gotta have the jab though, man. Got to be pumping that jab in her face. Gotta have the jab in her face, man, because if she don't, you won't get caught like Lamos. Gabby, what's going on? Gabby, I was just talking about you earlier because I was talking about the Jacinto Josephine Knudsen fight, and I called it wrong last weekend. I thought it was last weekend, but it's this weekend. And Gabby, I think I'm going to go with Josephine Knudsen from Sweden. I know y'all going with the Aussie and Jacinto, but I'm going to go with Josephine in that fight. Kareem Silva is probably the only flyweight that can match Aaron and BJJ. Maybe Gatto as well. That's crazy. Tracy Cortez beat both of them too, didn't she? Gatto and Blanchfield. I think yeah, Silva's a close one, but I would still give Blanchfield the edge. But I think Gatto, yeah, she's close behind. Close behind. The boss said I think Santos would stay more composed under fire than Andrade. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's one reason why I can still pick her in that fight. And she won't get pulled down like that, man. Like I believe Santos on her back against Blanchfield, I think is it's not as nerve wracking. I think Santos will be fine. Let's see. Got some comments here. Lafayette says she won't take Santos down that easy. Blanchfield's good, no doubt. I'm not sold on her beating Val or Santos. Okay. Yeah. Those are the ones, man. Those are the fights right there. Gabby said, yeah, if Grasso was to get the upset, does Aaron or Manon still get their title shot this year? Because Val would get a rematch. Ooh, that's a good question. Mm-mm. If Aaron beats Valentina, then immediate rematch. So, oh no, if Grasso wins, then yeah, immediate rematch happens this year. So Aaron and Manon might have to wind up fighting, or they'll wait it out. That would be crazy though, man. Yeah. So it would definitely put a hold on any other contender because Valentina's going to get her rematch. You know, she ain't gonna play that. If she loses, boy, she gonna be beating herself up over that. She gonna want to get it. She's gonna get it. James said, I feel like Aaron's grappling not as great. Not as great as who? Who are you comparing it to, James? That's what people don't understand, man. Like she makes the right moves in there. They just don't understand it. Like what do you call it about her grappling though? Like what makes it not look great to you? Like because a lot of people say she don't look great in there, but she's doing a lot of good things that messes these fighters up in there. So she's doing something right. Is it not pretty to you, or is it just not dazzling to you? Is that why it's not impressive? Because it's impressive to me. Even the way she's turning her jab over, in her right hand, those are impressive. Not in a boxer's position, but in a MMA striker's position. Well, that's normal. Like Andrade's worked on her takedown defense. Andrade is a solid grappler too, but he'll stuff 2 or 3 takedowns the first time around, right? That's normal. Like JJ Aldridge did too. So what did Aaron do to get the takedown next? She made the adjustment and started beating Andrade to the punch, right? She started beating her up, landing punches until she could get her takedown, right? So yeah, there's got to be different levels to it. So her MMA IQ is pretty high, but I still say, her grappling is off the charts compared to some of these girls at flyweight, and it definitely can. It'll give Valentina some problems. I'm telling you. You'll see, man. You'll see. Go back and watch some of her grappling moves, man. Like just go back and watch what she does, man. She's got she's got one up on some of these girls. I think. Look, in some areas of jujitsu, she's got one up on Valentina. I'm gonna just say it like that, man. I'm gonna go ahead and be real with it. Y'all want to know how I ride with this fighter? I think she got some areas in jujitsu that are up over Valentina. Now it's like pure experience is, one of the best MMA fighters. I mean, yeah, we got to give that to Valentina. But Blanchfield, she deserves her credit too on what she's been working on since she was a kid. Yeah, Fatima Klein is like next level too, man. Yeah, yeah, B, like she's one of the girls I'm watching too, man. Like Fatima Klein, that shoot, like you just don't know. Like these girls be doing grappling tournaments too. Like Fatima Klein, she's humble enough to do these little tournaments to get better too as a grappler. I mean, she's a career grappler. This is her thing. Made her transition to MMA and brought it over nicely. So yeah, Aaron is surrounded by some good training partners here. And it rubs off. They both started at such a young age. Gabby said the UFC is going back to Paris supposedly in July. So if Gon wins against Jones and Val, Gon as a main event, Val versus Manon as a co-main if they don't give it to Aaron. That could happen. Or Suarez. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good fight. That would be a good matchup. But I don't know if they would make it Valentina. Maybe it would be Tyler Santos. Maybe like Tyler Santos versus Manon or something like that. Yeah, Sink. I was just talking about that earlier. We got Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill May 13th, and we also got Marina Rodriguez and Verna Jandaroba. That's a good fight for Marina. To work on her ground game and ground defense, takedown defense as well. Yeah. So yeah, I've got Angela Hill as well. I got Angela Hill on the feet, and I got her putting hands on her. Even if she got a pity pat her to death, I think Angela Hill is going to be turning up for this fight. What was the question I asked a while back? Will Angela Hill get in a top 10, or did I say she would get in top position again? That was a question I asked, right? And hey, if she wins this fight, she'll be back in the mix. So I'm cool with that. I'm happy for Angela Hill. If she can win this fight, I would like to see her get in the mix because we don't, we're not gonna be around forever. So let her get hers. I mean, she's been fighting. I remember during the COVID years, Angela Hill fought like 4 times in 1 year, right? Won some and lost some, but let her get her shine, man. Tisha's out. Amanda Ebos is at 125. Michelle Waterson's about out the door. Let Angela Hill get some, you know? Go ahead and let Angela Hill get some in there. Mackenzie Dern, she got moved that way, right? So let Angela Hill get her move. Let Angela Hill get moved in there and take that. What spot is she? Is she number 7? Mackenzie Dern number 7 right now? I think she is, right? James said, all I'm saying is she doesn't take people down at will. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying she doesn't take you down at will. Oh, okay. Well, that's the part of her jiu-jitsu that makes it kind of scary. You're kind of waiting on that moment. Like she can submit you on the feet or she'll take you down. And when she takes you down, James, it's like, watch out because it's something special. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't telegraph it, right? There's surprises. Like even when she strikes and takes you down, the way she picked up Molly McCann and took her down, so you just never know when it's coming. And I like that. Yeah, Dern could submit Hill, but if she keeps it standing, it should be her world all day long. Because Hill ain't knocking out. I mean, Dern ain't knocking Hill out. I want Angela Hill to go in there and put some work. Yeah, Angela Hill's knee's gonna be money sink, but she's gonna have to be prepared. If she try to catch one, you might try to take her down. So she got to be careful about that. But yeah, for the most part, that tie clinch, when she grabbed that neck, land a couple knees and turn her, she gonna give her all kinds of fits. Hey, what's going on? Bennett, he says true. She's good only on the ground. Oh, Mackenzie Dern. Yeah. James, I think Aaron has a better shot to beat the Bullet down the line when the Bullet gets older, not now. Like how many more years you talking, man? You want to age her out? I think now's the time to get it, man. I mean, you might be right about that, but yeah, because once she starts to kind of fall behind in her reflexes, yeah, Aaron could capitalize, and Aaron would be better by then, right? So I know what you mean. Yeah, like Aaron down the line, yeah, Aaron would get better as a fighter too. And then if Valentina starts to get older, yeah, she would be in a better position. Right now, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a fight, but I would want to see her get it now so she get full credit for it. Manon is not getting it next because she wants to fight before the fight. Yeah, right. Yeah, she wants to fight before the fight. So I think if they do France in July, Manon comes back and it'll probably be Tyler Santos. They're gonna make Tyler wait another 5 months before she can fight again, huh? Or she could fight again right now and then still come back. Ain't nobody stopping her. Darby, what's up? He's all respect, but Hill ain't beating Dern. She getting submitted. Dang. I think she gonna get submitted. I don't know, man. I don't know because Dern couldn't even take Jan Janan down. She took Marina Rodriguez down one round. Couldn't keep it going. I don't see. I mean, I could see it happening, but I don't. Hill's gonna have to do something reckless to get her down. I mean to get to the ground because Dern hasn't taken anybody down. That's why I kind of went. I kind of started looking at it a little bit wise now when it comes to how she submits fighters. Like she usually submits fighters if they're reckless, like Hannah Cyphers and Randa Marcos, but Nina Ansaroff. But if you're getting better with your takedown defense, Marina Rodriguez style, Jan Janan, she ain't gonna submit you. Tisha Torres. And yes, Sink makes a good point. 77% with the takedown defense, and she's getting better with it now. Yeah, she could probably survive and win a striking match. Right, yeah, right. Bennett said, yeah, she couldn't submit Tisha or Jan. And as long as Angela Hill's takedown defense is getting better, no problems. Oh, Lolita, what's going on? He said, hey, what's going on, Lolita? Glad you finally got to join us. We are here. And I'm just doing some comments here. We just talked about a few of the fights. Well, who do you got, Lolita? Do you got Tatiana or Montana De La Rosa? And yeah, you late, Ernest. We were just talking about that. I'm gonna go with Marina in this fight. I'm gonna go with Marina in this fight, and I'm gonna go with Angela Hill. James, I think Aaron is next around June. Aaron in June. That's a good turnaround time. Or July, excuse me. July. Marcus Bell said the key to beat Dern will have survival skills on the ground. Right. Gotta have survival skills. Survival skills. That's Marina's middle name when it comes to surviving on the ground, boy. She can survive, man. All right, still got like 25 people. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Maverick has 70% takedown defense her first 3 fights after Blanchfield 44. Oh yeah. That'll tell you how good that tells you how good Blanchfield is now. See, James, look at that. Like, look at that right there, James. Look how Blanchfield knocks that down. Like she was taking her down. She was taking Miranda down, who's physically strong, good grappler, brown belt. All right, Lolita's got Jandaroba. Ooh, that would be a big win for her, man. That would put her in that position too. Told you, Angela Hill and Jandaroba are in good matchups right now. They got to capitalize off of this because it could put them in that top 6, top 7 placement where they could get right into that mix. That'd be a nice little win for both of them because they've been at the bottom for a while now. Darby said Valentina versus Aaron is like DJ versus Cejudo 1, but in a couple of years, Aaron will be a complete fighter. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, like give her another year or two, she'll be settled in a little bit more. And remember, she's only 23, so she's still getting stronger as a fighter. So believe me, like a couple more years, she'll be having that grown woman strength. Striking will be better. Jiu-jitsu's already off the radar. So by then she'll be complete. Gabby said, what do you think the UFC wants next for Aaron? But like you said, no one really prepares for you for Val. They want Aaron hype continue to grow and for her to grow. So do they risk it? I think it's dangerous if they risk it. Oh, I mean, risk it to give her a title shot. Oh, I was thinking risk it as far as like give her another fight. Um, I think I think they give it to her. I think that's why they kind of put her in that position anyway. They were putting her in there with the number 3. So you put her in there with the number 3. She's now in a good position to be the next contender without having to wait and say, oh, who's next, who's not ready, who's ready, right? So now you have a good position for a fighter like Aaron Blanchfield to be next in line. If they make her a known fight now, it would be kind of risky because the way they have it now, Valentina has 2 contenders set up, Grasso and Blanchfield. If they make her fight one of the other fighters, it's going to be a little. It's going to be a little. I don't know. It'll be a little. It'll be a bit of a gamble. TJ said there's a lot of Aaron Blanchfield fans here all of a sudden. I'll pretend I don't recall when all of you were riding Rose's jock. Who are these? Who are these so-called Aaron fans? TJ, I need to know, man, because I just need to know. Like, we don't talk around. We call names out, TJ. So especially if you got to name somebody, you got to name them. TJ said everybody here was always an Aaron Blanchfield fan. Who are these people though? Who are these people you talking about? I just got to know, man. Like, I know where I stand with her. I know where I put my chips, and I know who my picks were. So if it ain't the host, TJ, I got to know who it is you talking about. Because I was rubbing it in earlier too that I told everybody. So which I did, and I stuck with my pick. When it came down to it, I stuck with it. Yeah, where's everybody that's a fan? That's what I need to know. I know we got some Claudia Delia fans that are delusional, but I need to know who are all these Aaron fans because I think everybody pretty much owned up to picking Andrade, right? He said, "I see him in the chat." Oh well, yeah. If you talk, I don't know. I just wanted to know who you talking about because name drop him. Saint said name drop him because I already told you who the quadruple threat was, right? And I stuck with my pick. Yeah. Now it was tough. It was tough because it's her first fight. That was her first fight against top 10 fighter that was a former world champion. So it can be tough, But like I said, with a lot of people, if y'all want to pick on Andrade, fine. Y'all got good reason to. You got reason to. TJ mad boy. TJ mad boy. He said, he's all y'all since Saturday. I mean, it was wild though, man. Like I remember people were kind of down in Aaron, like when I was talking about what kind of a fighter she was, but I told them that she would be in the top. She'd be in title contention sooner or later, right? I thought the Andrade fight might slow it down, but no, man, that sped it up even more. Yeah, so as of right now, well, James, as of right now, the whole quadruple threat is ranked, but 3 out of 4 is 1, 2, and 3 now. So you got Santos, Manone, and Aaron. All right, so what you think about that, James? Those are my picks. Those are all the fighters I picked on the way up that I said would be, next for Val at some point because they were that good. And yeah, I mean the thing about Miranda right now, I believe she's just been doing other things, and the UFC's also been taking a while to give her a fight. But I still think she's like a growing fighter and a smart fighter. She could definitely get into the top 10. If they continue to push her. See, the thing about Miranda, like they've actually been giving her tougher fights than fighters like Casey O'Neill, in my opinion. To me, Miranda actually has a better resume than Casey O'Neill, win or lose in her fights. She's had to fight Jillian Robertson. She's had to fight Aaron. She's had to fight Macy. Even at the time, Sabina Mazo was kind of a tough test because some people thought she would be able to knock out Miranda, but Miranda winds up submitting her, right? So Miranda's actually been having some, pretty challenging fights compared to some of the other fighters that move faster. Like even compared to the fighters like, what is her name? What Tracy Cortez, she did fight Melissa Gatto and some fighters like that. So, Miranda's been getting tough opponents already. So that could be a blessing. She'll get better as a fighter and eventually she'll be in the top 10. But yeah. Sink said, who thought Mazo would beat Maverick? Oh, there was a few people in one of my chats because they was like, oh, she long and tall. She's going to knock her out. It was like, Miranda can't strike. Miranda can't strike with her. She's going to get knocked out. So I was like, all right, watch out. I was like, watch what happened. Miranda actually outstruck her. It was a while back. I can't remember, but yeah, I was going back and forth with some people on that one, man. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I think Miranda she'll be there eventually. But it might be a little bit slower until they start, matching her up and getting her some fights again. So we'll see. Oh yeah, Bennett has a question. Hold on. Bennett said Gabriella versus Jasmine. I'm gonna go with Gabriella Fernandez. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gabriella Fernandez in this one. James said a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon. Not everyone, but a lot. I won't disagree on that. Aaron is it apparently. Well, we'll see what's up soon. Yeah, well, some people do, some people do, but it takes something like this for people to see it. See, I've already been seeing it. Shout out to my man BJ. Like he said, he didn't even know who she was until I told him about her, which is, I told him about her years ago. Because like I said, I've been watching her since she was like 17 or 18. So I was just watching her move and how she was growing as a fighter. And I was like, yeah, this girl going to be something. When she get to a certain level, she's going to be something. So all the way up to that point, even with Andrade, I was just like, man, this might be a tough test for her. But I said, you know what? I still think she got the skills to do it. A lot of people talk down on her striking. A lot of people talk down her takedowns, talk down on her jiu-jitsu. But one thing if I said that Friday live, I was like, hey, when she get on that back, she gonna submit Andrade at some point in this fight. It might not be an easy win. Turned out to be easy win. I was wrong about that. But like I told y'all, Aaron get on you. She'll submit you. I don't know what round, but she was gonna submit her. And everybody's like, oh snap. I didn't see that coming. But I told you. James Perez said, it's true that as the date changes, the opinions change because all opinions are based on past data. Darby said if there's suddenly a grip of Aaron fans, then it's with good reason. She won over a lot of people with that performance. Yeah, you're right, Darby. And that's the beauty of promotion. Like, ain't that what fans want? Like, that's what Darby's saying too. Ain't that what y'all want? Like, when somebody shows up and shows out, you're supposed to become a fan, right? I believe Brian Williams said it, right? Brian Williams said he had to bow down and get the props now too, right? So that's what I want. If it take a performance like this, I want y'all to see it and then say, oh man, I was wrong. I'm a fan now. You want a fighter to fight like this so they can have fans, So that's what it is. Stammen said you talking because if so, you're muted. See you flicking through comments. Hold on. No, maybe I think you got some. Might be your service stamina because I can hear my phone just fine. Yeah, but I was saying, like what Darby said is that a lot of people jumped on now, but yeah, that's good. That's what you want, right? You want a potential star, and you want somebody back in that can put WMA on their back and get more people in to respect it. And you got that this weekend, Now, as far as people jumping on the bandwagon, just to say, oh, I've been picked her, I have predicted her anyway, like that just came out of nowhere. Yeah, we know how those fickle fans can be, but hey, that's always going to be around. That's going to always be around. But yeah, if that performance proves people right and make them say, okay, I was wrong, for the most part, that's what you want. I'm sure that's what she wanted to be. She wants to get critics to say, watch out, here I come. Right? Gabby said, Aaron, O'Neal, Barber, Santos, etc. are going to have such long careers inside the UFC. Yeah, I believe that. I still think, yeah, to a certain point when O'Neal gets maybe to the top 6, 7, even by the time Valentina retires, I think, she'll be in that mix, possibly in the top 5. We'll see. As as some of the older fighters retire and thin out, like when Chikagan's gone, Lauren Murphy's gone, Andrade moves out of 125, you'll have a lot of them move up and kind of mix it up. But Santos and Aaron, to me, are the best out of those 4 names that you mentioned, though, to me. O'Neal still has a growing. Macy's still growing, too. Let's see what Macy can do against Andrea Lee, too. James Perez said Bullet took each of her opponents down. What happens if Bullet is on top? How dangerous is Aaron from the bottom? I think Aaron's good from the bottom, man. Like, now, if Val gets side control on her, it might be interesting. But if Val tries to go on her guard, I say Val better watch out. Like, Val better stay hugged up. I can see Val trying to get into the guard of Aaron And if she puts too much space in between the two, then I think Aaron could submit her. But if Val does get into the guard, Aaron's going to have to try to push to get that separation, because I think Valentina's going to hug her and try to sneak in little elbows like she did against Jakeg. And, she'll hold her and then separate, boom, boom, hit her with a couple elbows and try to cut her, transition to side control and try to put some weight on until she get back to her feet. Just steal rounds with takedown moves like that, but she won't stay on the ground for round, for a whole round against Aaron. I don't think that would be wise. If it goes onto the ground and it's in the right position, but yeah, off of what I just said, I didn't even say that. Like, you must believe that. You must believe that, James. You must start to believe that now yourself. Like, let's say if Aaron gets Valentina's back the way Tyler did, you'll probably be crying, James. If Aaron gets on Valentina's back the way Tyler Santos did, you're gonna be crying. No, with the first scenario you talking about with Aaron from the bottom, I didn't say anything about it yet. But you want to know if her chances of submitting Valentina are high. I think so. You're gonna be crying, James. If that happens, if she get on her back, you better be worried. Let me put it that way. Gabby said, which two prospects do you think want or will fight for the title once Val retires? If Valentina retires, let me see. I think, out of the prospects, like Natalia Silva, I think, she'll want to fight for the title. And of course, Juju Miller does. At some point, Juju does. That's why Juju Miller is here. Juju Miller hadn't even fought yet, but I know her energy. Like, Juju Miller wants to eventually fight for the belt. That's why she's here. She done won the Tough House. She's got a mission. She's on a mission. She got a point to prove. Juju at some point wants to fight for the belt. By then, Valentina might already be retired. Same with Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva ain't improved like this type of fighter. She ain't improved to be this type of fighter for nothing. So Natalia Silva, I can see her wanting to fight for the belt. Tracy Cortez, I'm not sure yet. I think Casey O'Neill wants to fight for the belt. Question is, will they get there? I don't know. But yeah, even Casey O'Neill, I think she wants to fight for it at some point. What's her name? What is her name? What's the girl I'm thinking of? Even Miranda Maverick, I think when they all get to a certain point, they'll all want to fight for it. Yeah, Mastermind said Tatiana versus Aaron. That'd be a good fight. If Tatiana has a good showing of herself this coming weekend, we'll see. Lavia said not Natalia. Yeah, Natalia definitely, man. I think she wants to fight for the belt. Brian said too early to predict Juju. No, no, Brian, it's not early to predict. I mean, the question was who wants to fight for the belt, not who's going to get the fight for the belt. I'm talking about, she said, who do I think will want to, right? See, she said, which two prospects do you think want or will fight for it? Yeah, I think they're the fighters that want to fight for it. Now, will they get there and do it? No. But yeah, Juju's definitely a fighter that would want to fight for the belt. Wanting and actually doing it, two different things, right? Or actually getting there, two different things. But yeah, I definitely think Juju's got the energy that would want to get there. CJ said, remember I didn't say Aaron would choke Valentina out, but he did imply that if she gets Valentina's back, we'll have a new champ. I'm just saying. It's gonna be interesting when she gets the back. Don't act like when she gets the back, yeah. Don't be surprised on what might happen there. I'm just saying. Mastermind said, what about Macy? Macy going down to 115. Macy goes down to 115, supposedly. So we'll see how that goes for her. What's the state of the division once Val retires? Dominant champ or different title changes? I think it might be changing. I think it might be changing a little bit. I think it might change a few times. I don't know if anybody's really set into a particular style that can dominate. Like Tyler, for the most part, she's probably second best, but even then, like there's some holes in there that certain fighters could beat, Um, but there's definitely girls in there that could get it, maybe get a couple title defenses. 9 is hard to get. Val was taking on, those girls that were just limited at times. Good fighters, but they had limits and they didn't have the same focus. So her timing was perfect, but yeah, it'd be hard for anybody to go on a 9 run now. Some of these girls are evolving too. No. Yeah, I want it now, Darby. I want to go ahead and see this fight now. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. He said I pretty much implied that if Aaron is on top, it's a wrap. Wait a minute. Because y'all are trying to throw so many different terms out here. Okay, so I said, yeah, if she gets on her back, James will probably be crying. That's not a place she wants to be, right? And if she gets a top position too, man, like you can't count her out. And if she's doing what I say she's supposed to be doing, as far as watching the tapes on Valentina, not not everybody is gonna fall victim like you think, James. Santos gave her a good fight. Special fighters will give Valentina a good fight. Special fighters can beat her. James said, "How good is Pavel as a coach?" I think they have a good relationship. I think that's the coach that she needs. Just like for certain fighters, they have relationships with. I think he's a good coach for her. Like how he is for everybody else. I'm just saying, like based off what he does for her, it's just the chemistry there. Like for Floyd and Roger Mayweather, there's that chemistry there. May with Stewart and Lennox Lewis, those special relationships like that. Yeah, yeah. Erin just said in her latest interview, she has been watching and stalking Valentina since she was in high school. She already aimed her food basically. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I think I said that a while back too in a video that you have to eat, sleep, tapes on Valentina. You have to eat, sleep, everything. Eat, sleep, train Valentina. You have to think about it. You have to be her best friend when it comes down to it. You got to stalk her. You got to study the ins and out of her. Okay. Let's see. Brian Williams said James and Darby, there are significantly more subs than just a rear naked choke. That's why Aaron is so dangerous. Look what MBS did this weekend. That's the danger of elite BJJ. Right, right. Like that's just what I'm saying. Like every time you hear me talk about like Aaron or Mackenzie, these girls with, you know, superior BJJ, you can't give them any limb because that's what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. It's about submitting your opponent. And they don't just go for one move. I mean, if they take you down and they get you back, yeah, they'll go for a rear naked choke. But if you're standing over them trying to hit them, even in like a street fight, somebody that does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they'll snatch up your leg and they'll have you submitting just like that from a knee bar, or a heel hook. That's why they're so dangerous. Like, you can't just stand over them. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many situations here where, if Val slips up one moment, Aaron's going to be on her. Like, that's how tight she is with it. There's so many ways for her to get it done. So it would be better, if Val kept it standing, because that's her game. Her Muay Thai is still better and her timing is still on point. She's faster than Aaron, but if you let Aaron get it to the ground, why make it competitive like that? And you make it sound like she's going to make it one-sided on the ground when she's not. You got to give this fighter credit in what they do. That's why I keep telling you, don't be surprised if it would end in like a submission going Aaron's way. Like, that's how good she is on the ground. See, now you're talking crazy. See, now you lost me. When did I say she was a student? Aaron is a master at BJJ, but when did I say that Bullet is a student? See, now you're losing me. When did I ever say that? See, you on the track, but then you go off the deep end and say I said I'm downplaying Bullet. So I'm done, James, on that note. You done lost me there, and now you're trying to put words in my mouth and saying she's a mediocre fighter, she's a student on the ground. I never even said that. Sound like you digging your own grave. It sound like what I'm saying is actually putting you in a position to be worried now. See, Marcus said you worry. Gabby said, how many fights until Klein gets signed? If all goes well, does she go through the Contender Series or get signed? She got a fight coming up in March. Maybe she goes for the belt and then she gets signed. Maybe she goes for the belt and then she gets signed. I think, Gabby, like for the Invicta belt and then she gets signed. That would be good. Like if she won the Invicta belt and then went to Dana White's Contender Series, because that's a lot of good experience for her. Maybe about like 3 or 4 more fights. Maybe 4. I like to be careful and push it. Maybe like 4 to 5 fights, just to make sure she's on point. See, I said Tatiana versus Aaron. That'd be a good fight. If Tatiana can get back her mix. Robot Chicken said Whaley's the 2-time champion. You think you're surprised at how much better I think she is. Okay. Well, have you watched her? I mean, have you watched her fights? I wouldn't be saying that if I, didn't think so. You think I just made this up off of 2 fights? You think I just watched 2 fights and just said Aaron is that good, James? Like, you don't understand like how long I've been watching her now? And like how long she's been studying it? Like how long she's been into BJJ? Get her, grasp reality for one moment. Understand somebody can be better than Valentina in a certain field because they've been studying just as long as she has. Okay? When you start off as a kid, it becomes a part of your life, all right? And she's been on it since she was a kid. So she's earned stripes in the same way Valentina has when she started off as a kid. So understand that she can be good in that field, okay? Or better. I know you talking about Valentina as an overall MMA fighter, but I'm talking about one specific discipline here that could pull off it could turn the fight into a whole different direction. That's all I'm saying. I'm not downplaying Valentina and what she does, but I'm just saying that it's going to be interesting on the ground, is all I'm saying. Who do you think will win, Alexa or Valentina? Valentina. Yeah, Valentina. I hope it's a good fight, though. I would like to see Alexa do something big in there. But yeah, I'm going with Valentina in that fight. Yeah, that's all we can do, James. I'm just saying, like the same way I picked her to climb the ladder, we'll just see how it goes, man. Like you saw what she did against Andrade. Stick it out with Andrade. She's now number 3. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, all three. Yeah, they're all 3 back to back now. You got Tyler, Manon, and Aaron up there now. So I must have been picking right. I'm just saying. So you got to give me some credit there, James. Mastermind said Val would be like a fish without water once Aaron takes her down. Aaron is slick on the ground, but not as slick as Ronda. I think Aaron's a little bit more technically sound than Ronda, actually. You know, Ronda's really, really strong, quick, maybe quicker and athletic, but I think that she's much more. Um, Aaron can outshine Val on the ground. She goes for the kill and don't stall like Santos. Exactly. That's what makes her jujitsu, so dangerous. She's more submission over position. Yeah, Ronda's submission is quick, but it was kind of basic after a while. It was the same armbar every time, right? I mean, the same transition. You know, Aaron's different. Aaron's different. Yeah, James, you're right. James, we'll go on for like what I say, like 36 pages of chat log, right? It'll continue for 36 pages like y'all were doing the other day. Gabby said, "Do you think Val's opponents will suffer the John Jones effect? They idolize, they dominate the champ, and they finally beat him, but then they can't beat the other contenders." I don't think Aaron will. I don't know. You know what? No, I don't think Aaron will. I don't even think Tyler will. I don't think Manon would either. Like, if any of them beat her, I think they would just move on from it. Maybe this would be like, who can I compare it to? You kind of have to have that lack of killer instinct to be like that. Was kind of like how Ketlin Vieira was, right? Remember Ketlin Vieira said she was a little starstruck with Misha Tate. I could see her being that type of fighter. Like if she fought Misha for the belt or Nunes, yeah, she would possibly lose it because she was starstruck in that moment. If that's what you mean, or you mean they idolize, they dominate, or the other way around. Is that what you mean? Let me see. They finally beat them. Oh, okay. I know what you mean. Fighters like maybe like Chris Weidman, where they beat Anderson Silva or something, but then they can't beat anybody else. Yeah, I think that's what you mean. I'm getting a little tired. I'm about a little hungry too. I'm about to get up out of here, y'all, for this show. All right, y'all. I had some fun tonight. While I close out here, go ahead and put your picks in for Montana and Tatiana one last time. I'm going with Tatiana. I'm actually doing this one early. I usually do it on a Friday, but yeah, it's Tuesday and I got stuff to do. So rest of this week. So yeah, while I'm talking, just put your picks in for Suarez De La Rosa. Who you got? Who you got? And make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Also to the show here, TV99 Talks, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. Anyway, you listen to a podcast. If you don't want to listen to it on YouTube, it'll be on any of those platforms. Mark said, Tatiana, go ahead and do your worst. Yeah. Yeah, I'm go with Tatiana. Go with Tatiana, Gabriela Fernandez, and Haley Cohen as my picks. Bellator is kind of hard to pick sometimes. I'm gonna just play those fights out and enjoy myself. Same with PFL. I ain't even playing. So yeah, time to roll out. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Good show. James will see just how good Erin can be when it comes down to her ground game, man. You're gonna see one day, man. You're gonna see the light on Erin Blanchfield's ground game. And you're gonna respect it. If anybody has a chance of maybe pulling off an upset, James, people think Grasso does, but I don't know. Might be Erin. Might be Erin. If she can get it into that killing field she's known for. Just watch. Mastermind said Val's gonna lose to Grasso. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it though. Darby said I was at Ronda versus Carmouche. That was the only fight I rooted for her because once she started talking, it was over. I think a lot of people were like that with that. That's dope though. You got to be there at the first title fight. Yeah, everybody was loving Ronda for a minute. Well, she still had a lot of fans, but some people they were kind of turned off when she started talking more. That's kind of how it was. I still won't turn off a Ronda fight though. She's still exciting though. Yeah, it ain't even about being a big draw like all the time. I mean, Valentina's making money, she's comfortable, but she ain't no superstar. But hey, so what, right? But on that note, I'm getting up out of here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Like always, Combo Breaking 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.